I am so grateful for my magic mind this morning because we had our holiday party last night. See my ears? And I wore them for the first part of my workout. I still got all my stuff everywhere. I wore them for the first part of my workout this morning, and then as I was doing burpees and all these things, they came like flinging off. Oh, it was so great last night with the holiday party. I brought all of my hi, there's Muffin. I brought all the different groups together into one big call, and we started with a sacred brag of the wonderful things that have happened. And there were like surprises on the call that I hadn't even heard of yet, like a new book deal and being nominated into this prestigious medical society as a resident. Someone got engaged. She came to me when she was single, and then came with her partner to the calls. And now he's moved on to coach with a different coach, and she's still with our group. And so the group was like, because the way he looks at her, just the way he looks at her, just melts all of us. And so as we move into this podcast with Sharon was, Sharon's a vet. So she's a surgeon. So she was finishing that, and she was like, the call had started and she was racing home to get on the call, and I was sending her the questions because we were doing like a dyad, and she just shows up. She just gives her best. She's just willing to play, and she's willing to not give up because she was late or feel weird or awkward. Like, she just showed up and she did her best. And I so appreciate the lightness of being that is unfolding for her. The releasing of any, the commitment to release more and more self-judgment all the time so that she delights in being Sharon. So I just love her. We have so much fun together. She's brave. She just does the work. And she's present and like grateful and discerning and observant, and her heart is beautiful and her dreams are exquisite. At the end of the call, we did our visions for the year. These, innocent birthing of how the divine aches to know itself as us. Like, what is that? What is that expression? So as you go into this podcast with Sharon, you're just gonna feel the sweetness of this woman. And logistically, before I forget, as we go into the podcast, I would really recommend this Magic Mind. It gets me going in the morning for my workouts, but it's also a really sweet, nourishing way to start the day, not like a jolt of caffeine. It's just energy and focus. So they're such a generous company. They give all of us listeners at Intimate Conversations, magicmind.com/intimate conversations. Then you put in the code Intimate Conversations 20, and they give you either 20% off a one-time purchase or a subscription. So I get a little antsy when my supply is getting low. So it's just a part of my day. And as I was just finishing out my workout with my trainer, Allie, she notices just how the commitment I have to my health, the commitment I have to my well-being, we're upping more protein and more weights as I get older into my 50s. My commitment is to still be able to be vibrant and be healthy and play and love deeply. All right, enjoy this delicious conversation with Sharon. I love you so much. Welcome to Intimate Conversations. Become the one. Intimacy is an inside job. Hello, delicious people, and welcome to another episode of Intimate Conversations. Here we are at the end of the year, December 2024. How did it happen? This is the month where we're talking about the embodiment of you and how we transform our shadows into our superpowers. And I can't think of a more amazing friend, client, sister goddess in the universe than Sharon to share her journey with you as we dive into what it really means to be embodied. I'm going to tell you a bit about her, like her professional bio, and then a little more from my heart about her. Sharon has worked as a veterinarian since 1985, and currently practices in Charleston, South Carolina, where I had the pleasure of meeting her. Through her continuous connections with clients and patients, she has gained wisdom around emotional well-being, both for humans and for animals. And with this wisdom, She has begun a practice of helping not only people, but pets in a more direct and a more powerful way than previously possible. For more than 10 years now, Sharon has been a practitioner of acceptance and integration training, AAIT. It's a system taught to her by her mentor, Melanie McGee. And Sharon began working with plant medicines in 2023 as part of her path and has grown ever more passionate about their power as a doorway to spirituality and to our highest nature and our utmost and infinite being. In addition, she has come to appreciate the effectiveness of using AAIT as a tool for integration before and after plant medicine journeys and MDMA journeys. And Sharon met me within this year of exploration, and we quickly became sisters on the path. In fact, we just went to Pink. Yeah, we just went to the concert together. We had so much fun.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love you, and thank you for taking time to connect with me today
Oh,
in so
I love you, Alana. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor, such an honor.
Thank you, sister. I fell instantly in love with you. I met you through someone I dated in the past, a friend of yours as well. And I remember sitting out on the covered porch and you were sharing about your plant medicine journey, your most recent ayahuasca journey. And I'm like, oh, I fucking love this woman. Oh my God. So she's not going to think I'm crazy. Which, as I was getting to know more of his friends, I just sort of felt trepidatious, like, how much can I share? How much can I share?
Mhm.
And with you, it was this big, wide open, like French doors opening of like seeing me and I see you, hearing you, you hear me. And it was just like a breath of fresh air. So I've never asked you this, but what was it like to first meet me and share about this really precious, tender, raw, exquisite journey you were beginning with plant medicine?
Oh, it felt like a Pink concert. It was just like, yes. I've met someone that I can say these words to. She gets it.
Mm,
And not only does she get it, she'll say something and I'll be, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. That's so amazing. Yes. It was a lot of yeses inside my body. Uh,
mm.
and yeah, I loved you instantly.
Yeah, same. And then as I began to explain what I did and how I used a different medicine in a different way, and I had done ayahuasca journeys, thinking maybe like 20 years ago, and they changed my life. They changed my
Mm.
life. But what I noticed was they didn't change the patterns in my life. They changed my life in that I knew I was one with everything. I knew I didn't die. My soul didn't die. There was a sense of peace in my life because I stopped being so attached to things. I could almost hear behind people's words because I could hear the multidimensionality, the
Mm.
oneness of it all. I didn't take things as personally, but I still wasn't very successful in the relationship category. So it wasn't changing my core wounds, which is why I kept on the path. So, what began to be curious about what it is that I do as a complement to what you were already doing?
Um, you were so energetic and clear
Mm.
and sincere and truthful, and I trusted you. Um, and when you said this, the MDMA and cannabis and PSI, I was like, I gotta try that because I trust this person. I see the light inside of her. And isn't that how it often, or maybe for me, always happens through connection with another person where you're like, oh, I see this person. And what else can we see but ourselves? So I see myself in a new way in this person and I trust her, and this is obviously the next place to go.
Mm. Thank you, because I see me and you as well. You're so smart. You're a friggin' doctor, obviously, like you're a surgeon, so like whatever. Um, and the over when we're traumatized as children, and the very effective survival mechanism to survive that is to be in our head, is to be three steps ahead in our head, right? And it makes us farther and farther away from the present moment in our body. I'm like, oh, I know that one. I see
Right.
that one.
Do you remember the journey when I was thinking, and there was a metal stake going through my skull, and I'm like, oh, I need to stop thinking.
The
It
thinking's not
wasn't
going so well.
painful, it wasn't scary. It was just like, oh, oh.
Yeah. That's not where the solution to this is going to be.
And you and I both have very powerful brains, and it's gotten us very far. And
Yeah.
society, particularly our toxic society, has validated that.
Yes.
And so it's a it can be a hard habit to break,
Oh,
but
yeah.
with MDMA, there's a realization in the very body
Hmm.
that um yeah, it's like just like there's a yes, there's a no. It's like, okay, no.
You can sense it, not think it. You can
Yeah,
feel it, not
feel it. I
strategize
can,
for it.
right. I don't have to think ahead. I don't have to ruminate the past. It's in my cells now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That
This,
doesn't mean there's not work to do around integration, which I'd love to also add, is what you add to the picture that I don't see many other places.
hmm
The connection, the community, I think that's huge. I think that's um I don't think I could I wouldn't do it any other way. I'll just say.
mm, Thank you for that. And just to spar with you a little, you were a little resistant. You're like, I don't need community. No, I don't want that. Who?
So
No,
resistant. Yeah. Another Zoom community? No.
no.
I was like, oh.
And very valid point, because I think just like there aren't a lot of people that do plant medicine with integration and community, private integration and community like me, I don't think there's honestly a lot of communities like mine. The amount of intimacy, safety, vulnerability, having each other's back, we're all in at the same depth of diving off the deep end into our core wounds. So what was it? What is different? What was your experience with this community?
Mm. It's so different. And not different. It's connection with other humans in a safe way. And I think for many of us, perhaps all of us, definitely for me, safe connection with other humans, i.e., parents,
Mm,
society, hasn't been so available. So to be able to integrate what I've learned with plants in a safe community where the container is held by you govern that container in a way that it's safe. You
yeah,
ensure that safety for us.
yeah.
And we're able to share with deep intimacy our truths, our where we are. We get to see where other people are on their path, where we're going, where we've been. We hold each other's hands, just walking forward and together.
Mm, yeah.
That's what could be more healing than that. That's how we're designed, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, trauma occurs in relationship and healing occurs in relationship. Trauma doesn't occur in a silo generally,
Mhm.
nor does healing, awareness does. Awareness can, but the actual integration and the autonomic nervous system going through that threshold, that turbulence to finally come home, it happens in the presence of another. And it's the most humbling gift that I get to give. And something that just dawned on me for the first time ever, which is so fun because in conversation, new awarenesses come that can't come alone as well.
Yes, yes.
When I started my ayahuasca journeys all those years ago, and I had complete oneness with all, something shifted when I started to do videos for YouTube, but something also shifted when I started to do group calls. I'm not separate from you just because we're on Zoom. We are
Mm.
quantum entangled. We are the oneness that I know is real on an ayahuasca journey. It's not a Zoom call. Yes, it is, but it's not. And same with when I look in my YouTube, in my camera to do a little YouTube video, I'm not looking into a camera. And so I'm
Mm.
talking to the person. I literally feel their energy and I don't press start until I do, and it's real. And people
Wow.
reflect to me. I mean, I've had people reflect to me, Sharon. I was on the brink of not knowing if I wanted to be here tomorrow. And I saw this crazy video from this crazy lady, Allana, and you were talking to me.
Oh.
They
Yeah.
feel it because it's real, Sharon, but it's real because I'm choosing it to be. I'm not choosing to talk at you. I'm choosing to talk into you. And I'm
Mm,
letting it affect you. And then I'm sensing the effect on you on me. So that figure eight is literally happening right this second. Now it's a conscious competence. It was like an unconscious competence. Now it's a conscious competence. And it's possible for all of us. You know, when you're
yeah.
talking to and you have like a daughter and a son, like you can talk at them on the phone or Zoom, or you can literally be with them. And I'm curious, maybe the next question, well, then we'll go back and explore more about your journeys. But how has your relationship, I don't know, been deepened?
Hmm.
What's it been like since doing these
Well,
journeys?
as you were talking about that connection and that figure eight, and I thought, oh, what I've come to realize is that's not coming from a place of ego at
No.
all. It's coming from a deep, deep humility. Um,
Yeah.
and when we're deeply humble, um, where is ego? It's nowhere. It's nowhere.
We're
So
just present.
yes, and it's so freeing. For me, I would have to say, as you were talking about, there is a distinct, not so distinct feeling
Hmm.
of connection from a place of complete stillness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No ego. And when I say ego, we need ego. Ego's great.
Yeah.
That's how we get to work, it's how we drive a car, it's how we brush our teeth. We need it. And there are moments like the one we're having now where there's such a deep connection. Ego's just nowhere to be really
Yeah.
found.
It's in the back seat. Yeah. It's in the
Yeah,
back
it's just
seat.
like, hey, I'll call on you when I need you. And I
Right.
will need you. So thanks. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. I'm glad you have been having the experience of the connection with the group calls. I'm glad we can talk about the why that we're allowing the ego to take the back seat, the front of our bodies to soften, the figure eight to keep intertwining with everybody on the call, the quantum entanglement to be like a felt experience. And no mind. We're not three steps ahead trying to figure anything out. We're literally in our body, embodied with curiosity, love, humility, and courage to speak truth in ways that we might normally go, oh, into our head, that's probably not safe, and then we've left. But we have a chance to just let it pour out of ourselves. If we go over to your first, second, whatever the PSI journeys we've had, what was it like to do, I'm going to say medicine different. So this is a one-on-one
Mhm.
experience, blindfolded, low dose. So we're communicating the whole time. And I'm not letting you leave out into unity consciousness. If you disassociate, that's your autonomic nervous system saying, okay, now we've hit a place where I never got to integrate this as a kid. There was nobody there to hold safe space for me to feel my feelings. So I was a super smart little kid and I left. So the body replays or recapitulates those moments so that in relationship with me, I do see you. You are safe. I will honor you. You are respected. And the body comes back in and then it goes through all these levels, 3, 2, 1 into this still place. What was it like for me to encourage you to stay in tier one, the body, and experience intense emotions?
Super intense emotions that, you know, I probably would not have felt safe being alone with.
Sure. Or in a big group where you don't know where I was,
Right.
right?
So
Like I
to
was
have
right
you
there.
right there,
Hmm.
um, I would say having you right there with me, knowing that I was being taken care of,
Yeah.
um, trusting myself in a way that allowed me to trust you.
Yeah.
You persistently hanging in there every time I left my body,
Hmm.
encouraging me to come back. which happened. I'm very good at leaving my body, as it turns out, and that has not served me.
Right. Nor did I judge you though for leaving. I said you
Nor
have
did
every
you
right to
judge
leave.
me. I mean, dissociation or disassociation, however you want to say it, is a great tool to use.
Totally.
Great tool to use. Great when we can consciously pull it out.
Yeah.
Um, like the time I told my friend, you've lost me right now. Can we get back to, can we get back to connection? And I didn't say it that way, but it's like, oh, I've left. Why have
Yes.
I left? So
Yeah.
it's great to know what it's like to trust the body,
Yeah.
to not dissociate in a unconscious way and not know that I'm even dissociated, and people around me going, where are you?
Right.
Why are you acting this way?
Yeah.
And instead to just uh, know what it feels like to be in complete stillness
Mm.
after having experienced complete panic. And
Right.
trusting the body
Yep.
to get through that
Yep.
complete panic. Do you remember the time I said, hey, I didn't die?
I know, but that's what it felt like, didn't it?
It's like I was so surprised.
Right.
Something about these medicines that allow us to do that.
Mm.
And I don't understand it.
Mm.
I don't need to understand it, but it feels like, oh, it's safe. I've got Alana here. I'm feeling panic. She tells me if I will let this happen,
Trust body.
it's only going to be 60 seconds, 30 seconds. And I'm gonna have I will have experienced complete stillness, and I will learn to trust my body, and I
Yes.
won't be victim or controlled by the fear of panic.
Thank you, which is massive.
Massive.
Means you're no longer a victim of life.
And it's in my cells.
Yes.
And yes, there's a lot of practice that has to go, integration before, integration after, community, connection. It's not the medicine is the ticket in the door. It
Mm-hmm.
shows us what we need to know. It changes things in our very body, and we can easily forget.
Yeah.
Or I will say, let me just speak for myself. I apologize. Let me just say, I can so easily forget. So I need my practices. I
Yeah.
need one-on-one sessions with you. I need community. I need yoga, meditation,
Yeah.
AAIP, all those tools.
Yeah. That's why I don't do this like a one-off. And I
Hmm.
don't, it's a year commitment, and we're going to do 3 journeys. We have our next one coming up in January. And because there's going to be like, even in a weekend, like, I think I've told you this when I did my journeys, no fault of the people. It was just the way it was structured. But I had to drive myself there. I had to drive myself home after a journey and cook for myself and figure out how to get in the fucking door. And like, nobody took report of findings for me to read so that in my 2-week neuroplasticity, I could rewire my brain. I had to
Let's
pay.
talk about that. Let's talk about your 2-week report. That's magic.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's magic. I don't know anyone else that does that. And
Nobody I know does that. I am copiously recording it like on audio, but I'm copiously taking notes, and not just notes of the present moment. I know what we've been working on for the last
yes,
couple months in private sessions. I know what's come up in your work life or your romantic life or your parenting life. Like, I understand how it's all wired together. And when we get back to zero or that stillness at the end, it's not just like, oh, the panic's over, the anger's gone. There's a jewel of insight, clarity, wisdom, and a new found truth. I'm not even going to say belief, truth
yes, the
that's found
newfound
from
truth
your body, your
in my
heart, your
body.
hips.
Yeah.
And that needs to be in that 2-week neuroplasticity period after the medicine. I want to be damn sure that I'm helping your brain rewire. And the day 2 with cannabis, she's a beautiful medicine to help us rewire. So that's why it's so great to have her on day 2. So the combination of all this, and then the report of findings, if you do your work and you read them every single day, you are literally body, mind, spirit, belief, all the things. You're Sharon. You're back to Sharon,
Mhm.
like the truth of Sharon, and not like, actually, it's not even true. It's not back. It's evolved, ascended. You've you've become who you came here to be in this life.
Right.
Yeah. And the
That's really
harshness.
lovely.
Mhm.
And you learned that because you didn't have that.
Yeah.
So look at how the divine instructs us, you know,
Yeah.
the time, things that are hard for me that just really kicks me in the ass. I can look back now and go, oh, now I can, others don't have to learn that, you know.
Right.
It's not, it's not that we're better, or it's just what life is giving us so that we can give to
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, we're willing to do the next step on the developmental unfolding. We're not better, but we are more developed because we're willing to do the work at this next level. And I was saying, Michelle left this morning from her PSI, and I was reminding, we were talking about, she's like, what? You never had a report of findings? What? You never had someone take care of you? Like, remember one time after your journey, and I was doing the report of findings out on the deck, and you came out and you had another wave. Well, nobody was there for me. I was all by myself, but I was there to take care of you and make you dinner and tuck you in. And
It's great. Yeah, it's important. It's
yeah,
important because it feels safe. To
right.
feel cared for and safe is part of the integration and the healing of our trauma.
Yeah,
We didn't get that. No parent is perfect. My
correct.
daughter needs repair from the things that I did because I didn't know any
Yeah,
better.
yeah, same.
None of us
Same.
are perfect in
Yeah,
relationship or as parents or as lovers. None of us are perfect. There,
yes.
I've done a lot of reading around rupture and repair.
Yeah,
What we do, we rupture and we repair and rupture and repair, rupture, and it's learning how to ride the wave and how to repair.
yeah. In my experience doing this medicine, well before I met you, I think I've done like 34 journeys now. I had a very difficult time. This is like over in the professional world, but personal world as well. If I had made somebody upset or made a mistake or was accused of something or someone didn't like how I, instant justification. I couldn't receive it, be with it, sit in the fire with it. I did not have the self-esteem to know I am flawed, and simultaneously I hold myself in warm regard. I hadn't embodied that yet. I still hated myself like a motherfucker. And I was still trying to get you to love me so that I would be safe. That was
Right.
my program. So if
Yeah.
you get anywhere near, I am anything less than perfect, mayday, mayday, I'm going to die. And I need to dominate you to prove that I'm right, which of course destroys intimacy, right?
Yes.
And it's certainly not the way you want to run a company where your customer is wrong. No, the customer has to be right. So, oh my God, to be able to, when someone was upset with me, to be able to go, wow, I am so sorry. I don't have to agree. They might
Mm,
be batshit crazy. No, it doesn't matter. And then to get curious and lean in, tell me more. How can I
mm,
make up for the damage done? Please forgive me. And how that soothes their nervous system and they feel seen and heard. And I can grow as a business owner or as a lover, or sometimes they completely own it. They're like, oh my God, no, I'm actually completely projecting all over me. You're my mother right now. Okay, this has nothing to do with you. This is actually, we have this incredible moment of awareness and clarity and heartfelt connection that I never was able to be before. And it's amazing because now I'm not afraid to be in life. I can be rejected. I'm fine. I can be broken up
yeah.
with. It's not terribly fun, but I don't leave me anymore. And I don't need to get revenge and be righteous and all the rest of it. What has it been like for you? And you can go in any direction, work, parenting, dating. What's it been like to be able to have a greater, like we think self-esteem is in the mind. I don't think so. I think we can have a cognitive analysis of our accomplishments, but true confidence, self-esteem is in the body. Yes, I am flawed, and I will always hold myself in high regard and warm esteem. And we stay present, heart open. What's it been like for you?
Hmm. The word that comes, or the two words that come to mind, self-compassion.
Mm,
Um, self-compassion.
yeah,
We're all crazy. And we're all, I think James Finley said we're all just traumatized beings walking around. And to see that when someone triggers me,
mm,
that's my projection, and that here's my lesson,
right.
here's my lesson. This is gold. Uh, I this is this is this is love teaching me.
This is God in drag.
I love that. This is God in drag going, honey,
You got something else to integrate.
I don't know.
Yeah, compassion for others and compassion for self. It doesn't mean condoning, doesn't mean being a doormat.
Correct. Yeah. Just like, oh, honey, yeah, you messed up again. It's okay. We got, I love
Yeah,
you anyway. I love you. Not even anyway. I just love you.
yeah,
There
yeah,
are no conditions in love.
yeah,
There are no conditions. Doesn't mean I can necessarily hang around with you. You might
right,
be toxic for me. Um, it doesn't mean that you want to hang around with me.
right,
Maybe
right,
I'm not the thing for you. It's not personal.
right. For someone who's been seeking people to like me on the outside, to be safe, to give that allowance that it's not personal, and to stop hating myself, like you messed up again, kind of like to stop that. And I wouldn't say it's all gone, but the majority of it has dissolved and collapsed. And there's so much more freedom. And as you, in our relationship and our sisterhood, I took a sabbatical for a month when the hurricane hit and everything fell apart. And I was just like, okay. And I didn't
Of the
even,
flooding.
all the flooding, right? And poor Michelle was, who was just here right now, was supposed to have her PSI, and we were gonna get her in a car through all of the flooding. And like, I'm just like, oh my God, no, thank God we just took a breath. But one of the things that you've watched me is this desire to always be of service to others first, me last. Even my self-care, it became evident, was to be a better coach, a better lover, a better mother, it was all externally driven. And I had so lost what brought me joy for me. And that felt so selfish. And I hadn't evolved from the 3D selfish, selfless, selfish, selfless. I was just caught in that loop. And it was time I was ready for ascending to 5D, where it's self firstness. And from self first and that wholeness, giving what would truly bring me joy, which inherently is what I'm here on the planet to do as my gift to humanity.
Mhm.
So it is inherently for others, but I had to be willing to do self first. And that
Mhm.
level of self esteem, I have worked over 50 years to cultivate. And I finally did it with a month off. Humbling as fuck. So, what has happened to your self esteem in terms of where you want to live, how you want to work, who you want to date? All these decisions that we thought we were living our truth, and we were for that level of development. But now there's a whole deeper connection to truth in our body.
Yeah. And I think I use different words, like I don't know what 5D and 3D, and I just, don't, and so the language is different and the truth is the same.
Yeah.
Um, what's true is um, I don't need others for my own self-worth,
Thank you.
and I do need others for my self-worth.
How
Both
so?
are true. Uh,
Mm,
because I'm a living, breathing human that heals with connection.
right. But worth is different, though. I'm going to challenge you
Okay,
for your
challenge.
free.
Let's go. I love it when you challenge me.
Sorry.
Bring it, sister.
Well, to me, worth is inherent. And part of being
Yes.
caught in the overachievers that we are, that our worth got collapsed with our accomplishments and our achievements. And so I was more worthy if I had a better job, more money, a partner, someone liked me. I was more worthy. That's actually the lie. So to me, they are uncollapsed. My worth is my worth. That's the end of the sentence. I am that I am. Relationships come and go, money comes and goes, all these
Mm.
things come and go, right? So I choose to be, I'm a relational creature. I choose to be in relationship, but I don't need a relationship to be worthy, to have self-worth. I
Correct.
am that I am. And in fact, if I need a relationship to be worthy, I'm sure as shit going to manipulate, be manipulated,
Yes.
strategize, shine it on, do
Absolutely.
all my things. And
We
that's
can't
not going
help
to go well,
ourselves, can we?
right? Yeah.
Absolutely. We are worthy because we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not always, I'm not always aware of that truth.
Mm, mm.
And where I bump up against the times that I'm unaware of that truth is in relation to others. It's like, oh, bump, like
Yeah.
you said something that hurt my feelings. Oh, hurt feelings. I get to look at that and know that I'm worthy, have self-compassion, learn to talk to that person, learn to stand up for myself. It's about becoming, it's um when I say it's like I know but um how do we use these words to describe yes, we're inherently worthy.
Yes.
And that's what we're all doing, is we're all trying to come home to that.
Totally. Like the front of my
Want to
website,
come
Sharon,
home to that.
become the one to find the one or awaken the one. Like
Yes.
I'm teaching what I'm clearly here to learn, that I don't need agreement to be whole. I don't need anyone to own something to be whole. I don't need someone to like me to be whole. I don't need someone to approve of me or choose me to be whole. I'm whole. I have a lot of preferences.
And
But that's different.
if I just want to be alone, I'll probably just be fine with that.
Yeah.
And once I get out in the world and start living, then I bump up against all the places where I thought I was,
Whole.
and I am whole,
Right. But
but oh
there's still a
wait.
piece to integrate. Right. There's still a blind spot to integrate. And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the humility that comes along with this journey of like, oh my God, it's just so empowering and free and alive. And then bump.
I wanted to make sure I got a chance to say also, and this brings this up.
Mm, mm.
I just could not have become aware of the wounds that I have without plants and MDMA. There's something about these magical medicines that just kind of lift the covers off and go, oh,
There it is.
there it is. So years and years and years of therapy, a
Yep.
lot of work,
Yep.
started to flick at that so that I could become increasingly aware. But I can't bring to therapy what I'm not aware of.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So the very first plant journey I did, I was like, oh, that was 20 years of therapy in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I was instantly sold. And um, MDMA is just so powerful because it's so in the body.
Yes.
And I was such a dissociator. So to come back to my body and actually face those childhood traumas that have kept me so unconscious of my worthiness for so long, seeking that worthiness with others.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If I love you enough, then you'll love me.
Right. If I pretzel
Uh,
myself into whatever position you want,
Right. It's just, let me show you how much I can love you so that you can love me so that I can be worthy.
no, it's a
Does not.
losing game. And I just want to tweak what you said. Everything you said is accurate. And I'm going to say the use of MDMA this way,
Yes, thank you for
because
that.
a
Right.
lot of, way back when I was in my 20s, full moon rave party, Kopangan, Thailand, right? Like I utilized medicine to leave out to tier 3. And I left my body and I had oneness with all, dancing under the full moon with hundreds of people. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking
That
about the
is not
use
what
of this medicine, a much lower dose as well, because we're in communication the whole time, but to stay in the body and to surrender to the body. So when the mind wants to get in and try to figure it out, I'm like, trust body, allow.
that's body.
When the
Yeah.
mind wants to even try to feel an emotion, that's not feeling an emotion. That's still the mind trying to strategize, manipulate, force, push, get an outcome, have an attachment. That's still the mind. It's
Right.
literally letting go like you're a marionette puppet and allowing like a wave of emotion to come up. You have no fucking clue where it's going to go. you think you're probably going to die. And in level 3, it is very suicidal, hopeless. What's the point? Nobody wants to stay there. They want to move their body, clear their throat, and, how about a thought? Shh, let's just allow. I'm right here. Trust body. And then to feel the hopelessness that most of us override with alcohol, working, drugs, another relationship, busyness, all the things we do. Let's accomplish something else and get that hit of like, I'm good enough. No, we're going to sit in that until the body knows it's safe to go from level 4 to level 3, which is the hopelessness, to now level 2, which, oh joy, is going to be something really short, but really intense. Panic, fear, terror, rage, fury, something super, super intense, which again, not politically correct to have in a therapy office or in life in general. And again, we don't allow that either. But if you, with the facilitator, tier 1, use of this medicine, stay in the body. I got you. I'll be with you. Trust body. And you said on the other side, I remember so well, I thought I was going to die. Level 1 relief. I didn't die. Oh my God. And then this idea,
Freedom,
total freedom, that we
such
can
freedom.
trust our body when we in this society have been told, you don't like the body's something to overcome. It's like this nuisance. We have to keep it healthy. We have to like feed it well. It's such a nuisance. You have to lug it around all the time. Oh my God. Oh my God. My body is my path to freedom. It's a completely new partnership with the body. It's a new dimension for me. What was it like for you?
Hmm. It was exactly like that. Just trusting my body, letting myself go through sheer panic and learning from my very cells that, oh, I can do this. I remember having a therapy session after the MDMA journey or the PSI 2 day journey that I had.
Yeah.
Then I went into panic and my therapist quickly diverted it. I
That's what
wanted to
therapists are
say to
trained to do.
her, and I need to say to her, I know how to do this. I don't need you to take me away from this panic. I will be here. I can be with my panic. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go into a full physical panic attack.
No, it's gonna be
The
fine.
body is I'm gonna go to stillness.
Correct.
A big
Oh,
win. And
I'm
before I forget to say it, I need to say,
yeah, please.
you did all that partying. I did not. I was raised Southern Baptist, just say no to drugs era. A lot of people my age are just so resistant to this
Right, right.
because of what we were taught. Like, this is going to ruin your mind. This is going to, because
Yep,
I
yep.
think our society wants to control us so that we'll spend money,
Right. Keep us in fear.
keep us in fear.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the things I want to voice is, uh, I just wish I had done this so much sooner.
Mm,
And it's the message that our society says that this is not safe, this is not good for you. It's so amazing. It's
yeah.
so good for you.
It's literally life transforming. I mean, people
That's
have had horrific addictions to alcohol, to sex, to work. I mean, um, bodies shutting down, cancers. Like, I mean, it's healed so much for so many. I'm so honored. It is absolutely, but we've been programmed the
We've been
opposite.
programmed. We've been taught, and
Yeah.
it's so in our probably epigenetics now. So it's a big thing to
Yeah. Yeah. And you bring up another great point. I'm really glad. I, for various reasons, have chosen not to get certified in psychedelic somatic integration. My particular traumas were around being molested, and I didn't want to be in a room with a bunch of other people. I felt like a lab rat, and this was a very, very uh, vulnerable experience. And so I chose not to have a lot of other people around and only have my one practitioner to hold vigil while I face the most horrific experiences of my life. So, however, the psychedelic somatic integration, the Institute, I praise up one side and down the other and will for saving my life, for saving the life that I can now save others. Like, I love what they've done, all the research they've done, all the willingness to be on the front line, getting, trials, FDA trials with MDMA, FDA trials with cannabis, FDA trials with ketamine, all of these. I love the work they do. I can say nothing but praise for them. And one of the things that they're so different with is we've been, trained, not we, but like therapists in general have been trained, like there's this window of tolerance, they call it. And if you go anywhere near the client getting too upset, back off, and no offense, but medicate, right? Or give them a coping tool, which doesn't solve the problem. And if we look at like the idea of a iceberg, we're on this little tippy top of the iceberg, and we're just going to talk about the tip of the iceberg. And here's some medication, and here's some coping tools but underneath the water is this humongous iceberg. And with the way we use these medicines, low dose, to stay in the body, we go for the jugular. We go for the window of tolerance. We head straight in together. And then we surrender to this beautiful body. And the body of its own accord is designed to bring us home. I'm not doing anything to you. I'm holding space. That's for damn sure. You're safe as hell. Like, nothing's going to go wrong with me. But your body's actually in charge. And then who's actually, quote unquote, running the body? What is the life force energy that is allowing that autonomic nervous system to come back? What's fueling that? That's the divine. So I'm literally witnessing the divine in, as in, makes me cry. I'm witnessing the divine in, as in, through you, bring you home. And I have the honor of standing by as your ally. Like, is there anything more humbling and magnificent? Yeah. I'm so grateful for this work. I'm so grateful that this is not the 60s or 70s again with drugs. Like, we're utilizing them as they're designed to be. And in fact, I had a client, Sharon, whose parents didn't want to be, they thought they wanted to be parents, but when they got there, they're like, oh my God, this is a lot of work. This kid, what a burden this kid is. And they were quite high on drugs, her entire upbringing. And so she decided she was a burden, and she accurately assessed their opinion of her, which doesn't make her a burden, but to their point of view, she was a burden. And she's able to now separate that worthiness, right? That she's worthy,
right,
no matter what their opinion of her. They didn't see her, they thought she was a burden, but that doesn't mean she is. And then as we were doing the medicine journey, MDMA day 1, cannabis day 2, she had quite an aversion to the cannabis because it connected to mom and dad's checking out. So she wouldn't let it in. And she was in her head fighting the medicine a lot, because this medicine can be used in 2 ways. As I said before, you can go to a rave party and use MDMA and check out. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not what we're here to, it's not what we do.
right.
And same with cannabis. You can use cannabis to check out all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And the pathway will be created in your body and brain to check out. But in my opinion, that's not how she's designed. She's designed to help you check in and feel and help your autonomic nervous system come back to zero if we utilize her with this reverence and the sanctity of her gifts. So it was so beautiful to finally have this client go, oh, I'm breaking a generational chain of parenting, but I'm also breaking a generational chain of how to use medicine with consciousness.
Yeah. How humbling is that?
Massively. Yeah.
Massively humbling. Yes. Get it.
What's arising with what's possible? I know we said we wish we'd learned this before, and for some reason it's perfect that we learned it now. And I'm in my 50s and you're in your 60s, right? So what's perfect about this with your career path? What's perfect about this with your relationship? What are romance? What are you seeing as possible now moving forward, Sharon?
Wow. There are things at work that I just am not able to tolerate. And so, it's just not, because I can't dissociate the way that I used to. I can't dissociate from an unconscious, I'm sure I can, but
you don't want to.
I'm not dissociating as far as I know, in an unconscious way, and so I can't perform. I used to perform to be adored or be admired, and that was a kind of a counterfeit love,
Right.
and it's a hamster wheel to continue. getting adored and admired and successful, and it's not love. It just is not.
Yes. Thank you.
But our society, our toxic society, our toxic parents, our toxic friends, our toxic television ads,
Yeah. Everywhere.
so much being thrown at us to tell us to be admired, be adored, that that's what love is, and it's not.
Thank you.
Um, so, how will it impact? I just think it's a, a paradigm shift, complete
Yeah.
paradigm shift. I'm going to do something with my different with my career.
Hmm.
I have different um, desires for for what my partner would look like. I definitely want a partner. I've always said I don't have to have a partner, but that was more intellectual. I think now it comes from a different place.
Mm.
I know uh, I heard someone once say it's the PhD of relationships. I
Yeah. Yeah.
want to get that PhD. That
Yeah.
sounds
Same.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that sounds healing, and that sounds in the interest of humanity and everything. That sounds right. That sounds true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it feels just a different place.
Mm. I love this. I love this. And how would you say so we have one more journey coming up in this year. We've decided to be together, and there's more private calls and there's the group. When these constructs fall away, that, oh, actually performative doesn't work for me in the in this operating room or in the bedroom, right? Like nowhere. Um, and things fall away. There's this void for me being able to meet on a weekly basis with the community, to dive into private sessions, to book another PSI as relationships are shifting. The inner circle is no longer the same inner circle of who we hang out with.
Correct. Yeah.
Less is more. The strategic way to meet somebody is not there. Here's my business plan is not like, oh, it's like a different way of creating. How has continuing to have this container supported you as you are recreating yourself?
It's a different way of being and a different way of allowing.
Mm,
Uh, allowing what is to be and being open to everything,
mm,
to anything, not I guess you have to be careful when you say that because I mean from the sense of the divine, which
yes.
I mean some people, I have trouble with God and divine, and because I was raised Southern Baptist and
Yep.
or there's just a lot of uh one could say the self, whatever
Mm,
the ineffable, that
mm,
ineffable stillness,
yes.
whatever that is to you or to me, that's who we are, and that's who to be, and then what arises from that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for me to do. There's nothing, and I need to do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like the effortless effort. Like we still need to show up and be, do
Yeah,
what's in front of us. And
yeah.
what's in front of us, we have so much more presence to, and we can hear the nuances of what the message is of why this is coming or why this is leaving, as opposed to, oh my God, or no. There's a,
Grasping, yeah, the
yeah, I can feel more
grasping.
how things are for me, even when the YouTube channel's hacked. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
react. I didn't like
all
it.
for me. Yeah.
Great. How is this for me? I can receive things in a different way, which I think is wonderful.
Mm.
Um, at least two other questions. Did you get the house?
No,
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I feel great about it.
Okay.
It's not the one for me.
Okay. Beautiful. And
Yeah.
again, just a tiny example of letting things go that didn't feel right, putting
I
your
think
hat
in
over
the
the fence.
past I would have bought that house,
Right.
because it's an amazing house.
Totally.
On paper, totally amazing. I would have been admired.
Well, Yes, it was quite the house. So yes, you would have.
the house. And it just wasn't it.
Wasn't the one. Yeah. Beautiful. I honor your willingness to show up and let the universe go, there's even better. Right?
Mm.
Yeah. I love that. That was one question. Another question is, I'm a different animal. Uh, I'm not a therapist because I want to be able to say hi to you when I see you in the grocery store. I want to be able to break all the rules. And like we literally went to the
Yeah,
Pink concert.
yes, it was
And we
great.
got a little tipsy. We had so much fun. Oh my God.
So much fun.
What is it like to have a mentor who's also your sister and your friend? Like I have my lanes. And then you helped me with Muffin the other day. You're the vet. Like we have our lanes where you tell me and I tell you, and then we co-create like all these things. What's that? I think, at least for me, that's the evolution of instead of like a pyramid, like a collaborative circle way of conscious leadership.
Mm.
What's it like for you to work with me?
It is, so this is going to be hard to put into words, but it is, um, it, you're showing me who I am. Sometimes the things I didn't know, oh, I didn't know I'm also that, you know? Do you remember at the Pink concert, this guy just like glommed onto me. It was just
Totally.
so, and it wasn't a sexual attraction. It was just a pure uh, a- love
Yeah.
attraction.
Yeah. You were light and he was like, I'll have me some of that.
I'll have me
Yeah.
some of that. And
Yeah.
so you helped me navigate through that and validate it.
Yeah.
So things happen day to day in our lives, and just the way that you show up and encourage me to try to show up, you know.
Mm.
You've been sending me pictures of yourself, and I know you want me to send. I don't want to send you pictures of myself. One day I'm gonna have to send you pictures of myself. I
I know.
know
I sent you pictures of me kissing you.
you do, and it's just like, oh, I'm just not comfortable. You know what? You're teaching me. That's who
Mm.
I am, and
Mm.
that's so there's always this edge that you're just saying, here's the edge. You're not pushing me over the edge. You're just saying, here's the edge. Come along. Come on.
Mm.
It'll be fun.
Mm. It's amazing. Because I'm so glad you're sharing that with me because I don't have a thought that I'm doing that. All I am doing is loving you. I'm just being love in action. And people sometimes will call me, oh, you're too flirtatious. I hug everybody, old, young, man, woman, dog, child. It doesn't like I don't just single out the guys. But I trigger a lot of people and I used to withhold and I have like an awareness. If we're at a funeral or something, like I know there's certain behaviors that you just gotta like tone it down,
We're
Allana.
at a Pink concert.
Right, right. But we're at a Pink concert, I'm gonna fucking hug you. Like we're gonna dance. And I'm letting it be okay that my light both inspires and triggers. Well, if you really think about anyone who we admire, they both inspired and triggered because they were unapologetic in their gifts that they were put on the planet to give.
And it's all projection. It's
Correct.
all projection. And so
Correct.
if I'm triggered by you, because I am kind of like, ooh, a little uncomfortable. So I get to go, okay, how do I get to show up?
Right.
There's a
And
part of me
not to,
not wanting to show up here. How do I get to show up? This is love. This is what love does. Love is, by definition, unconditional, but
right.
it's not always comfortable.
Right. Right. Well said. And my expression of love does not need to be matched by your expression of love. It's
No.
like your unapologetic expression that's true for you is love. And my unapologetic expression of what's true for me is love. And then the other, that's our feminine energy. And then our masculine energy is the consciousness. Can I be with this?
Yes.
Change it, not judge it, not push it away, not manipulate it. Can I just be
Sit
spaciousness?
in it. Just sit in it
Yep.
and be. Yeah.
Can I do that as the masculine in me when the love comes at me? And we can do that within ourselves. And we can do that as we practice with our PhD relationships that haven't arisen yet, right? And that's why we're so into it, because we want to be able to practice that with another and have them practice that with us. To me, that's, love and consciousness alive. Like, what else are we here for?
Yeah, healing is just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not always, not
I'm going to remind
always
you of
fun.
that with your next PSI.
That's right. It's
It's a
but
whole lot of fun.
it is a whole lot of fun. And it's a whole lot of fun to do it with others.
Yes.
And sometimes it's so hard and
Yes.
so difficult and so painful.
Yes, it is.
And it is a whole lot less painful than continuing as is.
Yes,
That's
totally.
like, oh, do I want to keep being miserable? Or do I want to just let myself feel this panic?
Because it will be over soon.
Because it will be over.
But we've never been taught that. We've been told to avoid that
Right.
window of tolerance, which
Yeah.
just makes it grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What would you say in conclusion, my love? And I'm so grateful for your time today. Thank you.
Mm.
To someone who's considering working with me that has some resonance to our conversation today, similar sufferings, similar dreams, similar trepidations, similar desires, what would you say to them?
I would say, of course you're feeling resistance.
Mm.
Of course you are. And that that is what's telling you to do it.
Mm.
It's priceless. There's no dollar amount one can put on the benefits. I don't know how you figure out how to
Quantify that. Yeah.
Manage it. You know, all that you manage, all the this so yeah, I'm sure that anyone who is feeling called is also feeling resistance.
Yeah.
That's a given. So be with the resistance. Don't resist the resistance.
Yeah.
Be with it and just yeah, just open.
Mm. Mm. Thank you. I think the resistance is an effective gauge to where do I feel met, seen, safe to finally surrender and do the work. And resistance is healthy because this is intense and you want to make a solid choice. So that's why that's why I do these podcasts. There's so many people who people can watch. Oh, they've survived. Oh, now they're thriving. Oh my God, look at their life, right? So they can see the proof so that the resistance in the mind is met, but then the resistance in the body, there's a resonance. Oh, they're exhaled. I can feel it. Oh, they're exhaled too. I can feel it. And Allana's exhaled. Oh, I'm having that. So this looks like the path for that. So your resistance isn't wrong. Honor it, but don't let it stop you. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Well, if you need a great vet, if you're looking to date somebody hot, Sharon's your gal in Charleston. And thank you for being a valued part of this incredible community. Thank you for the profound listening you provide to others. Because when we get on these group calls, we can only all go as deep as everyone else is present. So thank you for the gift of your non-judgmental, deep presence, humility, vulnerability, and bravery that you bring to this community. I can't wait to see you for our next PSI, and then in Mexico for the whole group where you get to meet a lot of people you haven't met yet at our annual retreat. And then for those of you watching and listening, thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening to the gift that this incredible coaching, group coaching, and the PSI all together, the miracles it's provided for me and for Sharon and for so many other beautiful clients. And I would love to see you in my inbox if you want to book what's called an intimacy breakthrough experience call. There's a scholarship right in the show notes of this podcast. If you're like, yeah, I want to take the next step and connect with this lady, I would be honored and to connect so deeply and deliciously with you. Okay, like we do on all of our calls, I need to hug you. I adore you. I adore you. Thank you for your time today. And thank you, all of us, all of you, for watching and listening and being willing to be your greatest self. Yeah, all my love.
See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life.
I hope you can feel the love I have for Sharon, the love I have for this incredible gift of going so deep, so vulnerably, to the core, see the transformation, watch it unfold in someone's life, celebrate them. I love this woman. I love that we both have such a reverence for plant medicine. Sharon is so smart. And anybody who's very intelligent and has been rewarded in the typical ways for intelligence, accomplishments, houses, money, accolades, degrees, all the rest of it, which is awesome. And there's a whole other part of our being, our heart, our feelings, our ability to be present, our ability not to interrupt, our ability to be that safe place for people to come to because we don't fix them. That's a capacity that is not of the mind. It's of the body, it's of the heart. It's our ability to listen and be curious and seek understanding, not to try to fix something because we're uncomfortable with them, right? Like, we have to have integrated so much to be spaciousness itself, love itself, and be okay, be an allowance. You don't have to like it, don't have to prefer it, but be an allowance of life, an allowance of people. It allows you to flow. But when we have that point of view that something's wrong and it needs to be fixed all the time, life becomes crunchy. So it's been so beautiful to watch Sharon drop into her body and feel and be so much kinder to herself and be that incredible mom where her kids can tell her things and they feel so safe with her, and the shift in her friendships and letting go of dynamics, relationships that don't honor her, don't value her, and to bring forth ones that do, and to see how good that feels. I just love life with her. Yeah. So if you're a single lady, I'm just saying, Sharon's single. She's ready for love. This woman does the work. So sometimes my call to action, if somebody's an architect, I say, if you live in Chicago and need an architect, gotta call our client Diana. If you need a vet in Charleston, a dental surgeon, you gotta call Sharon. And more deeply, what I desire for her is to be met in love, in a relationship. She has so much love to give. And I also vision for her being able to give her gifts with her plant medicine journeys and her spirituality and her, and she's also she's badass when it comes to fitness. The woman can ride a mountain bike places that ought not to be ridden on a mountain bike. She's incredible. So she has so many gifts. I just wish the best for her. I choose the best for her. I see the best for her. And I know the best is yet to come because she does the work. That's how it works. We can't just sit around and expect life to be different if we don't change. And she is so brave to change, and such a delight. So if this type of dynamic that you just witnessed in our podcast, having a partner, a facilitator, a sister, a mentor, a partner in crime like me on the journey from the head to the heart, to the hips and our soul and our knowing and our deliciousness and our grounded receptivity to receive the best in life, and to do so with humility and with courage and with delight. I love what I do. I was, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, having the holiday party last night, and just the successes, inward and outward. No longer being a doormat, showing up for your dreams, speaking up of what you truly desire with your partner, all the way to the results of getting engaged or book deals, or deeper conversations with your children where they literally open up in ways they never have. These results, these ways of living are so nourishing and so worth it to me. So if that's the same to you, I would love to connect with you. Make 2025 the year where you're like, okay, I'm going in, and I will go anywhere with you. Any shadow, I will face it with you. And be that tender divine mother energy to honor your little you inside, and be that celebratory muse when the breakthroughs start happening in a community where we all rise together. It's an extraordinary life, and we'd love to welcome you to it. So in the show notes, there is a link for a scholarship to have what's called an intimacy breakthrough experience call with me, one-on-one. Would love to meet you. I would love to see what's going on, discover the blind spot, and show you the path that has worked for so many, including me. And nobody's perfect. We never get there. It is a journey, and it's an exquisite journey that I'd love to invite you on. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. All my love.